Walk me through what Steelers players are thinking when they hear the official for their must-have game is the one that was the official between the Lions and the Cowboys. Does that matter? Or we're just talking about it in the media? Chris?
I think if you're going to get a good week out of this official, it's this week. Like after you play poorly, you always buy a team low, that type of thing, buy this officiating crew low. It's not like they missed a bunch of judgment calls. Like they just missed the most obvious communicative call of the night in the biggest spot. And, I think the Lions got screwed. You can talk about the tripping penalty and that sort of thing. There are calls that are missed in every game. I'm certainly not taking anything away from the Cowboys, but the way that game ended was tough. And, the Lions lost that game because they decided not to go to overtime after the first time that they used up two of their 2-point conversion plays, which are like, you guard those things, you wait for an opportunity to use your best play. They send a guy in motion on the first play, you get a timeout. Okay, so that one's out the door. And then you run that trick play that the referees totally botched because, I'm watching Decker. He's got his elbow out on that wide angle. He's reporting. Like, you can't convince me otherwise. And the fact that the league says, hey, it's on the players, that's the biggest BS in the world, especially when you demote your officials in the playoffs. That's an acknowledgement of doing wrong, but then you don't acknowledge it outwardly. But the issue I have is, and I love Dan Campbell, and I love the fact that he's aggressive and he takes every situation individually, like whether it's the fake punt or the 4th and 3 that he goes, or the 4th and short that he kicks the field goal tied at 10, or the 2-point conversion. But I felt like he was a gambler chasing his losses. And believe me, it takes one to know one. Like after that first one, you shouldn't be going again. You get bailed out on that next call. And then you're down to your 4th 2-point play and you're at the 4. And to me, the question is, do you trust Jared Goff to make that throw perfectly? Because if he makes it perfectly, the ball's probably at the pylon, right? And we're talking about the Lions winning. But because they lost that game, Rich, the ripple effects are huge. Dallas gets 2 home games, and probably you've walked LA into Ford Field. You've walked Matt Stafford. You've walked Sean McVay into Ford Field, which is a tough matchup. I'm not saying Green Bay wouldn't be tougher, but there is a mental thing with that. And the way it happens is because Detroit doesn't win that game, San Francisco has nothing to play for this weekend. And you see the ripple effect there with LA probably maybe winning that game and sliding into that 6th seed. So it's not just a blown call, it's seismic.
No doubt, Chris. I was hanging on your every word right there. So my follow-up for you is defensive linemen. Can you be tricked in the manner that the Lions attempted to trick the defensive line of the Dallas Cowboys and wound up tricking Brad Allen at the same time? I mean, is that information do you listen to exactly who's reported as eligible, or do you watch it? Not if you're
not in coverage. Generally, a defensive line, when you get an unbalanced look or an extra tackle, you're going to make an adjustment based on how you adjust to those looks. So, then you're in the run fit. But the guys in pass coverage, and the reason I can't be too down on Dallas here is because when they report someone else eligible over the loudspeaker, that's the assumption that everybody on the back end is going off of. So there is the alternate universe, or there is the scenario where you have to acknowledge that Dallas didn't think that Decker was eligible in the first place, and that's on the officiating crew too. Now, in an alternate universe where they say Decker's eligible, that play's probably played differently. So there's a couple things at play here, and I think Dallas, had they known who was eligible, maybe they have a fighting chance to stop that play, but all around just bad. And if I was the league and I had multiple 2-point conversions to say either, hey, give the ball to Dallas with 13 seconds to go down 1. We screwed this up. You had 3 minutes, probably 4 minutes to do that. There's a phone line from New York. I know that would have felt like the hand of God or something, or somebody playing God from New York, and it had been unprecedented, but there's so much on the line, like replay the down or give Detroit the ball, or give Dallas the ball rather, with 13 seconds to go down 1. that to me, the mechanics of that situation are tough. And it's not like they just kicked the ball off 30 seconds later. There was a ton of time to get that right. So just a real blind spot for the league.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.